What is this, a console game in HD on my channel? Madness. Madness, I say. But it's actually true. We are playing Sonic Lost World, and this is a playthrough I'm actually going to finish, because I'm not releasing this first part until I've recorded everything else and uploaded it and set it as unlisted. So unlike Sonic Adventure DX and Shovel Knight, this playthrough is not stopping midway through it for months on end. This is going to happen, and it's going to be uploaded within the space of 2 weeks. But enough rambling. Sonic Lost World, as I've already said. This is version 4.0.0 of the game, which is the latest patch available, and probably the last patch as well. So, without any further ado, let's hit that plus button. Thank you, Passmate. And let's get into the new game. Let's get our intro. Not really, Tails, considering you guys have dropped animals out of Badniks all the way up in the sky before, in Sky Chase. But, details, I guess. And, yes, Eggman used a gun for once. Had one in Adventure 2 and Riders never used them, and he's finally used one, but rather than shoot Sonic in the face, he shoots down a tornado. Because that makes sense. So apparently this Lost Text is, well, this first part of the Lost Text is it's a Green Hill equivalent, apparently. Windy Hill Zone. So, Sonic Lost World's design. Very, very Mario Galaxy. Actually quite a lot of the levels in this game are spherical, as this planetoid demonstrates. As for the gameplay itself, it's kind of a strange mix of adventure and, well, Unleashed. Sonic's lost his boost in favour of the spin dash, and, well, we'll just see more of the main gimmicks of Lost World as we go on, particularly its parkour system, because we're already seeing the other gimmick of the spherical level design, which can lend itself to multiple paths, which is a nice thing. But as to why I decided to do a playthrough of Sonic Lost World, well, one, the game's fully up to date at this point, at least hopefully this is the last patch. If they patch it again at this point, I'm going to be very confused as to why. It's been, I don't know how long since 4.0 came out. I'll put that in the description. And I actually like this game. Not because it made Sonic Boom not because Sonic Boom made it look a lot better by comparison. I genuinely like Sonic Lost World. I'm probably one of the few people who does. So we have a small gimmick here, clouds that you bounce off of. If you don't hold the jump button, Sonic will just do a small hop, not really go anywhere, as if you hold it, he does this rocket up into the sky. And you also attract rings in this state, but that's just a small useful thing. The red star rings are back from Colors and Generations, and as you can see, this is not a 100% red star ring run, because, well, getting some of these things can be a pain in the ass. I'm just going to collect any that are in my path, or I know I can grab. If I have to go out of the way for them, don't expect me to grab them. I have a different file where I have everything, so I'll be using that for showing what the red star rings give you. And back from Sonic Colors, we have the Wisps, though I'm not going to be using this laser. So, let's just ignore it. I'll talk about the Wisps as we use them, which we'll be using one in the next stage, so that's not too far off. And these animal capsules, you notice how when I open them, there's a little counter that shows up very briefly of how many animals I've collected, quote unquote, which is more rescued, but still. The Act 4 of each zone requires a certain amount of animals to access it. As you'll be seeing later, that can become a bit of a problem when you end up needing to grind. This game has some pretty easy animal grinding things built into it, so it's not too much of a hassle. Knuckles and Emmy are here. Do not expect to see them very much. They are just in the background doing absolutely nothing. And a few smaller capsules. Amy's voice is so weird in comparison to her Sonic Boom one. And it's the same actress, so it's a massive change. Anyway, so this is our world map, and we're going to have some DLCs pop up. So we have Nightmare Zone, Yoshi's Island Zone, and Legend of Zelda Zone. So these are all DLC levels, the latter two being Nintendo eShop exclusives for free, the first one being a pre-order bonus. We'll be looking at those later on, so we're not going to dwell on them for now. So Omochao here gives us these little missions, which will unlock us items, because you saw I picked up a electric shield on the map. The item system in this game, let's say it kind of sucks. I'll get into that when we get to Wonderful Act 4, but we have another cutscene showing the creation of some good old motorbugs. Nice that they used the bad nickname again. Last time they used it with Sonic Rivals 2. Anyway, this guy, and the silhouettes that you could briefly see behind him. These are the main antagonists for Lost World. We'll get into what happens to Eggman in Part 2. The Deadly Six, and they're bland. The Bland Six. The Deadly Bland Six. We'll get into them later. Zaz is probably the most interesting of the Deadly Six, if only because he's crazy. So brought back from Unleashed and all the other Boost era games, we have our 2D gameplay. And you probably saw that I kicked a enemy just there. Basically, that kick will send enemies flying, usually into another enemy, and kill them both at the same time. It's kind of useful. There are some enemies that it doesn't work too well against. These Orbos, for example. If you try and kick one, that's going to happen. So it's best to use the multi-homing attack on them, because the homing attack can lock onto multiple targets at once. Anyway, our first newest with the game, Asteroid. Tilt the Wii U gamepad in the direction you want to move. Actually, don't do that, because just use the analog sticks. A patch added a analog stick control to all of the Wisps, so you should never use anything else, except for maybe Rocket. We'll get into that in the third zone. So, I know they's just run out, but I'm going to explain Asteroid anyway. If you hold the jump button, you get a high jump, and if you hold it while you're going down, you get a very slow descent. And anything nearby will be sucked into the asteroid Wisp and destroyed, including some terrain, which is nice. So you probably saw with those snail bandits earlier, the best way to attack them is just kick them. Otherwise you have to wait for the multi-lock on homing attack to charge up. It's moving a little bit fast here for me to commentate on them. But, so, Zaz here is pathetic. Most of the bosses in this game are absolutely pathetic. So he just shoots these little stars, and then you hit him a few times, so knock him off the ball. Dodge this ram. Stand still for a little bit, and then give him a good whack on the head with the homing attack. Because the multi-charge up homing attack can destroy bosses in like 2 hits. It's kind of pathetic. And Zaz is down for the count, at least for now. Very simple, not that interesting. Yeah, the bosses are definitely this game's weakest point. We'll get into what that is. Actually, I think I go and play that right now, after all this drops. That aim is a red ring radar. We will never be using it because, well, it's only designed to show you where red star rings are, and I'm not going for the red star rings. So, yeah. So we get 1-up, and let's show off this circus. There's 3 types of these, I believe, throughout the game, and these exist solely to grind animals. So this one's a trampoline thing. Touch this trampoline on the gamepad with the stylus and move it around and bounce Sonic up into these balloons. Pretty simple. The only made slightly more annoying by the fact that the whole screen isn't present on the gamepad, so it can be a little easy to lose track of Sonic when he goes off the top of the gamepad. I do like how he's in his classic death pose here. Nice little nod. And kind of humorous. And there is also a time limit, but it's only present on the gamepad. Yeah, this game is very reliant on the gamepad. And yeah, if you miss that happens, you do have 3 lives in this place. Though it's unlikely you'll wear them all out unless you're very particularly bad at keeping your eye on Sonic. I'm not sure if the rings do anything. Let's see what other mission Omochow has for us. Can you find 3 1-ups? You can never have too many. Actually, you can, because, well, I'm going to end this game with about 60 lives. Make of that what you will. So, here in Windy Hill Act 3, we are in a sudden cavern level. These show up a few times throughout the game. They're not too majorly interesting, they're mostly just a straight line. Which is, admittedly, kind of bad design, but hey. What can you do? Spin dash for at least 2 seconds. Practice space perfect. There is ways to chain this spin dash so it's like absurdly powerful. But anyway. Am I going to use laser here? Apparently not. I grab it and I just trudge through the mud. Because you're supposed to go up there. And use lasers there, but oh well, I did not do such things as this. These little crystals give you rings. The bats are easy to avoid. And these, well, you can just laser through them. Very simple. And laser works exactly how it does in Colours. Just aim it and then you fire off in that direction. And laser can also interact with these crystals, which will chain it along. Again, exactly as it was in Colours. Pretty simple. The Wisps don't really have a purpose of being here. Like, Sonic Runners tries to explain it, but I don't think the explanations are good enough. So, here's a brief introduction to the parkour system. Sonic can run along walls in between them. It's not going to be too useful, but there are going to be some sections where it'll save my life a few times. We'll see more of those as the game goes on. Windy Hill's just really the zone to get you used to the basic controls. And you saw this in Act 1, but this belly you can knock around, and it'll explode at the end of its path into either a 1-up or a red star ring, depending on what the bell is. I think this one's a red star ring, I can't remember. I have been... How many videos have I done now and I'm still bad at commentary? Oh yeah. Yeah, that was Windy Hill Act 3, pretty simple. But yeah, each zone has the what game is it? It's Sonic Advance 3's problem of having like one level in each zone that's way too many. Like Advance 3 had like 3 regular acts and then a boss act. This has 4 regular acts. Admittedly the acts are shorter than Sonic Advance 3's, but still. a set of power sneakers, which are actually very useless in this game. The only really useful items in this game are the shields. Nice callback to colours there with Eggman calling... No, it's Sonic calling Eggman Baldy Buckner's hair. Implying they're a greater threat than you, Eggman. Did we just fought you? That's why I love how sassy Sonic is at the start of this game, it's hilarious. Maybe. This game has some good writing, but it also has some really crap writing. So let's demonstrate the items, shall we? There's a briefcase on the gamepad. You tap that, and I've just enabled the speed shoes. Now, admittedly, you can see that Sonic isn't running that much faster, which is a bit of a problem, and the speed shoes wear out about here, which is absurdly short. And here, I want to activate a shield, and then I just lost it. Because I have to stop, look down at the gamepad, and tap on the item I want. And so while I'm doing that, I can't see what's going on in the actual game, which can be a real pain. I don't know why they designed it like that. These two sheep here. You've been seeing sheep all over Windy Hill. And they can actually knock you around, as you can see there. And I've had Sonic be killed by being bounced off the edge by a sheep. It's even more hilarious due to the context in which it happened. Anyway, another gimmick for Windy Hill Act 4, really, just this act in general, are those sunflowers that were back there. The Green Hill sunflowers are apparently grown razor blades and want Sonic dead. I don't know, it's weird. Also, this gimmick only shows up for this act as well. These little wet windmills. You stand on them, they spin around, and then once they reach the peak, they fling you off. And they only show up in this act. It was a real waste of a gimmick. I'm going to skip it and use the parkour. And because that was an example of how well the parkour can save your life if you know how to use it. Also, was this a callback to Wood Zone or not? The logs moving down the waterfall? I'm not sure. Example of the anti-gravity gimmick coming into play, because now we're doing the same thing but backwards and upside down. I never understood water in an anti-gravity setting. Extra rings in there. So, I may as well get into the whole thing with the rings. As you know, one ring, you're pretty much safe. 100 rings, extra life. That last part of 100 rings, extra life wasn't true when the game initially launched. It was following Sonic Colors' logic. I think it was Sonic Colors that did that. And the thing is, this game is actually pretty damn difficult at first, so you might die a lot. And even in this playthrough I make some really stupid moves and get killed a few times. So without the 100 rings extra lives, you didn't actually have that many lives. But the thing is, with that patch that added that, well, you've probably seen the amount of rings that are scattered around these levels. There's a lot. Small little chase sequence here. Pretty simple. Providing that doesn't happen. And avoid the sheep. Hold to the grass, and then suddenly we're in front and he's behind. Ooh! If you skip those springs, you can get a 1-up, as you probably saw. And some extra rings there for some reason. So Zaz throws his little ball, we homing attack him. And then he does the same thing. And then he rolls it. So yeah, this boss, as I've already said, most of the bosses in this game are absurdly easy and just generally pathetic. So, that's the last act of Windy Hill Zone cleared. The story's going to pick up in the next zone, Desert Ruins. Sadly, with this cutscene, we don't get a little flying minigame or anything like in Unleashed. We just get a cutscene. Pointless trivia. Ah, but the problem here, Tails, the wing was shot, not the propeller. So, as I've already said, we'll be progressing into that zone, Desert Ruins, next part. But until then, that's the end of this one, and I will be seeing you when I upload the next part, which should be in a consistent schedule.